I know the channel has fallen off, but my goal now is to restore it. And yep, gaming is gone. Firstly, the North America quickly gets explored. Along with the end of quickly exploring Mexico and California. The same can be said for Alaska and this part of Siberia. So these areas, after being explored and some settlementation being born, do stay the same thing. And by this point, the age of exploration comes into full fruition. Exploration gets really massive. This is where the age of Renaissance turns into the age of exploration, but it might as well be confused due to logical reasons. With the end of the age of with the Renaissance being a transition period, yet the Americas are going to get explored in a few years with really good ships. All of these areas are now explored, with even the Amazon, mainly headed by Gambian explorers. This is mainly because of the world having a massive population boom, and now Earth has way more people, so that means way more people that could work. And the Gambians are especially good at this. The Ainu actually do struggle. The Ainu struggle in colonization here, but they're still somehow adapting away. But they're still somehow surviving, mainly with sauna-like building contraptions. Okay, not sauna, like igloo, like cold plate. They expand massively. The Gambian civilization was very successful in colonization, mainly in the Caribbean islands. With these areas being captured, the Amazon rainforest is quickly claimed by Gambia. This causes Potato Empire to get really angry. But they videos with Repechla. And now the Potato Empire rules like the Inca Empire. And they develop a really big rivalry with Gambia. Luckily for most people, this area is free of Gambia. The lands that are free from Gambia become North and South Brazil. And the small colonists from one of the conquered countries of the Gambians, I think, would actually start building up land. colonies would get built up, yada yada yada. The big stuff. Some cities would get settled along the Amazon too. Okay. Eventually, developments in city building would develop, with the Ainu mainly concentrating their country in northern California, becoming New Ainu, the prized golden jewel of the Ainu colonial empire, while Jacksonville expanded and the original northern colonies have a massive population boom due to the big population boom, big boom. But not a lot of people dare to venture anywhere beyond this. Well, except in North America, due to its plains, mainly tribal societies are forming. Cahokia just sees this as an advantage and starts conquering all of those civilizations. After buying a bunch, with some joining the Cahokians as mercenary groups, the Cahokians and give them serious benefits. Some tribes join Cahokia eventually. These tribes would be known as the traitorous tribes, and the Cahokian conquest would go really well with this river, this area here, a large chunk of the deep south. Then conquered, same with Ohio, and they would connect up to this tribe. So the tribe of one of the traitorous tribes to Cahokia, would expand here, and the rest of the tribes submit to the Gambians. Cahokia, in a way to expand, also conquers this area, while the rest get encircled and captured by European colonizers. Not African colonizers or Cahokians, which in Wicso aren't true natives, they're more like settlers who founded their own civilization. The sheer amount of colonization that takes place would cause this area to be real weak and become independent and become a blockaded colony. This would actually start a colonial war. And since colonial institutions are basically the same as hundreds, basically the colonial wars are independent wars, not like the colonies are treated as a part of an empire, but the empire doesn't join the war if it's a war about colonialism and not something more. So basically, this colony, with aid from its parent empire, strikes back against these, planning to actually have some good communication, and they would also start developing actually instead of just randomly colonizing whenever they can. The Cahokians finally built up an empire under their leader, which would be nicknamed the Great. They built many cities in the next following years, and the sheer population boom causes North America to become a very industrious area, especially Cahokia, which becomes the dominant power in the region. Meanwhile, Latvia doesn't leave alliances, does actually leave this alliance because they don't care anymore. Same with Norway and Romania. Meanwhile, this feudal thing here, this weird trade confederation thing, would realize that it's pretty powerful, especially economically, and is to do a betrayal on the king, declare itself no longer a part of the whole German Empire, and declare the German Republic. With another government, nobility fight back against the merchant class. Some troops in Meissen also are getting captured. Same with troops in Bohemia, those struggle too. And same in Poland, which has become pretty integrated with the rest of the empire, also struggles. But with the fall of the empire, the empire is now gone, and the rest of the countries are fighting an independence war. The empire is annexed, and the lords that were under the empire's main control split it into tiny county duchies. What are these? Are free cities, archbishoprics, peasant republics, whatever you can name it. It's basically here. The Rhine, one of the main areas that would stop this would be the Rhine League, which would eventually conquer the two cities and establish control over this area. The Rhine League would decide to stay neutral of the war. What would they actually do? Expand into Thuringia, the Rhine League, the Rhine League. The Rhine League is currently a neutral power and doesn't like the mentioned confederation. It doesn't have good relations to the Danish-German company. So with this corporate takeover, the merchants are taking a dub while almost everybody else is taking an L. Well, maybe except for the peasants, but I don't know if they would be freed. With most of them already falling into disarray, Poland just straight up says that we weren't really part of Germany. We aren't really Germans, we're Poles. So they straight up leave Germany and declare themselves as independent, forcing these guys to opt out as it's no longer it was a civil war, and it would be declared as an act of aggression, and it would be done to attack Poland after this declaration. After this, the German Merchant Republic would reorganize its capital to a more strategic area around here. It would eventually divide it up into multiple companies, this being the mining company up in Bohemia, which I'm going to. Borders are represented by this. The mine there's the coal company, the mining company up in here. You also really have the guilds, the armor company up in here. You also have the cities of the Western League, the shipbuilders guild, the merchant capital, the Danish reserve, and the Pomeranian reserve. All of these areas have capitals, one of them being a border city actually. And so these companies, the very good, and the old so-called German Confederation is restored, but in a really weak state. Also, Austria, since has a lot of lands in the Pannonian Basin, Pannonian Carpathia, the Romanians also invade Austria, and they basically defeat them. They forcefully annex Austria. The Greeks, perhaps, and the Greeks and the Greeks don't do anything about this because Romania is their ally. Meanwhile, the southern Bavarian group found some new cities to increase commerce due to it being poor, and would eventually turn into some kind of Swiss confederation. And during this age, the Switzerland forms. Eventually, due to it, it was split into two: Swabia and Bavaria. Yep, it's also the 10th thing.